This week on the ZTV Sports Report,
we step up to the plate as baseball season is officially underway. We travel to the Diamond to cover our men's baseball and our women's softball games.
Spring is here, and so is spring practice for Akron football. Can the team step up and make a change in Terry Bowden's 4th year as head coach?
Sticking with football, we got a chance to talk to Akron football player Robert Stein and see what the latest is for the team.
All that and more on the ZTV Sports Report, which starts
right now.
Welcome to another special ZTV Sports Report. The weather may change outside, but we certainly won't change in delivering quality content to your television screens.
That's right. We don't take a break here at the ZTV Sports Report, your home for everything Akron Zips athletics.
Starting our sportscast today, the Akron Zips men's soccer program welcomed Walsh University to Cub Cadet Field.
The team traveled to play a spring exhibition match against the reigning Mid-American Conference champions, the Akron Zips. Let's see what transpired on the field.
In this exhibition, the Akron Zips hosted Walsh University at Cub Cadet Field. And we get started off right here in the 12th minute as Addy Dakwar gets his own rebound and nails the shot past 4 defenders. Then, just a minute later, Dakwar finds Anthony Macchioni, who nails this sweet heel flip goal, and the Zips are off to a 2-0 lead right away. Later in the first half, Anthony Macchioni strikes again as he's able to get this rebound, scoring his second goal, and the Zips go into half up 3-0. Addy Dakwar gets the second half started off as he scores on this goal just outside the box. Now, just when you think this is getting out of hand, Anthony Macchioni wanted to make sure he was going to have himself a day as he hits his third goal here for a hat trick. Now the icing on the cake is when Richie Laria races past 2 defenders and scores the Zips the 6th goal with just 23 seconds remaining. This wasn't too much of a game as the Zips were able to defeat Walsh University 6-0. Macchioni led the way with a hat trick.
College athletics never sleeps, and when one sport ends, another begins. Baseball is back, Sartaj.
The crack of the bat is certainly a sound missed all around the globe, and our Akron Zips baseball team certainly missed it the most as they get their season underway.
Youngstown State and the University of Toledo were the Zips' rivals at home. Let's pitch it over to the Diamond Field and catch the results.
On March 24th, the Akron Zips returned home for a home opener against the Youngstown State Penguins, and the game gets started off early here in the first with this RBI single back up the middle. And Youngstown strikes again with a shot back up the middle that brings around 2 runs, which gives them the 3-0 lead in the top of the first. Akron rallies back as Rohan hits an RBI double back up the middle, which scores 2, and they bring it to a 3-3 tie at the bottom of the first. Akron played solid defense in the whole game as they turned 2 double plays in this game. Akron quickly took the lead in the bottom of the second as this pass ball here scores another run, making it a 4-3 game. In the bottom of the third, an RBI double brings home another run, making it a 5-3 game. This game was back and forth all game, but in the 6th inning, a solo shot makes Youngstown take the lead 6-5. Despite all the runs scored in this game, the pitching was phenomenal as the teams combined for an outstanding 23 strikeouts. And despite Akron rallying to a 7-6 lead in the bottom of the 8th, Youngstown State was able to score 2 in the top of the 9th by an RBI single and a walk to secure an 8-7 win over Akron. And the top performers from Akron were Davis, who pitched 5 innings and had 9 strikeouts and 4 earned runs, Rohan, who went 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 1 double.
On March 28th, the Zips hosted the Toledo Rockets for some action on the ball diamond. John Valek would get the start for the Zips, and he was in a zone. Valek would make Rockets hitters look silly all day, delivering strikeout after strikeout. Valek would finish with 10 Ks altogether. Toledo pitcher Cameron Palmer found himself in an early jam. Bases loaded and 2 outs. Zips trying to strike first, but Palmer delivers the strikeout. Toledo with a runner on second. Valek throws the ball in the dirt, but catcher Brian Lease throws the runner out at third. Toledo again threatening with a runner on third, but Valek delivers another strikeout. For those of you scoring at home, that's a backwards K. Zips bench coming out to appreciate Valek's effort. Zips have runners in scoring position. Matt Remblek hits a line drive to right field, but Ryan Callahan makes a perfect throw to the plate to get the runner out. Costly error here for the Zips as what should be a routine play turns into a run-scoring error as shortstop Matt Remblek delivers a high throw to first. Zach Beaver would relieve Valek in the last inning, but could not hold the Rockets as Ryan Callahan doubles to center field. And John Martellota hits a single to bring in another run. The Rockets were the winners of this game by a score of 3-2. On March 29th, the Zips hosted the Rockets at Lee R. Jackson Field for an afternoon ball game. The Zips would strike first as Matt LaRocca ropes this one into center field for a double. LaRocca would go in standing up, and why not strike a pose for the cameras? Mason Mammarella would pick up the RBI single here as the throw to first is not in time. The Zips handed the ball to starter JT Brubaker, and Brubaker was near lights out on the mound on this day as he was able to rack up 7 strikeouts and only allow 2 hits in 8 innings of work. Mammarella again would knock in another run here on a single, and here Matt Remblek doubles to left field. Costly mistake by Toledo pitcher Steve Calhoun as his pitch goes into the dirt. The catcher is unable to find the ball, and the Zips take advantage. Chris Simonton ropes a ball into right field for a single, scoring 2 runs. The Zips continue the offensive surge and continue to take advantage of Rockets' miscues. An overthrow to third will score the run. The Zips are winners in this one as they beat the Rockets 10-1. The Zips as a team had 19 hits and were led by Joey Havrelak, who was 2 for 4 with an RBI and scored 3 runs.
I certainly miss baseball, Casey. Did you?
I certainly did. But do you know what I'm going to miss, Sartaj?
What's that?
I'm going to miss our viewers as we have to take a quick break, but we will see you on the other side of our commercials.
That's right. When we come back, we head on over to check on our Lady Zips in softball and see where they place in the early goings of their season.
Plus, after a campaign of high expectations falls short, the Zips football program turns the corner to what seems to be an upcoming pivotal season.
Stick around. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to ZTV Sports Report. As our baseball team season has already begun, we turn to softball, where our Lady Zips have recently returned from a long road trip.
With matches against St. Francis and Eastern Michigan, it was certainly a homecoming challenge.
On March 31st, the Lady Zips had their home opener with a doubleheader against St. Francis University. The ladies played outstanding as the first couple innings. There was plenty of strikeouts and a lot of caught stolen bases. The Lady Zips threatened in the second inning by loading the bases, but unfortunately, with a strikeout and a pickoff, were not able to succeed in scoring. The first runs of this game came from St. Francis University as this hit goes over the center fielder's head for an RBI double. Then St. Francis strikes again in the same inning with an RBI single back up the middle, making it a 2-0 lead in the top of the third. The Lady Zips were able to respond with their own RBI double in the bottom half of the third, making it a 2-1 game. But St. Francis had Akron at every turn as they stopped 2 potential runs here on this double play. St. Francis would eventually take a 4-1 lead in the 6th. Akron tried rallying late in this game, but it wasn't enough as they go on to lose 4-2, and the second game of this doubleheader they end up losing 9-2. Akron's top performers in this one was Sealer, who had 7 innings pitched, and Nicholas, who had 1 for 2, 1 RBI, and a walk. The red flash was Lauders, who pitched 7 innings and had 7 strikeouts, and Reed, who had 1 for 4, 2 RBIs, and a double.
ZTV made it a little late to the rainy game, but in time to see Sarah Pearson steal first and make it safe to second. Down 3-0 and Pearson on second, Alman hits a home run, giving Akron 2 runs in the 5th inning for a score of 3-2. Chelsea Wilde hits the ball to center field where it tips off Eastern Michigan's mitt, giving her the chance to make it safe to third for a triple. Pearson hits a line drive down the foul line, making it to first and giving Wilde the chance to score a run, making the Zips tie 3-3. The Zips fell short, giving a run in the 7th inning and lost 4-3 on this rainy Friday afternoon. Their second game also got canceled because of the rain, giving Eastern Michigan the overall win for the day.
While our spring athletic programs are overtaking Akron headlines, that doesn't mean that our fall athletic programs are just sitting about. The Akron football team has been training to what could be a pivotal year for this upcoming season. Terry Bowden and the program take to the field to prepare, while Sartaj Ajla has the scoop.
The Akron football team enters spring training with the presence looming over them. That is of a 5-7 finish to a season many believe to be their turning point. The change of weather from winter to spring can also spell a change in the team's mantra and attitude towards a new season. The Zips travel to the fieldhouse to start their work towards improvement. The team's last season finished 5-7 with a 3-5 record against Mid-American Conference opponents. The team opened up with a 4-2 record, highlighted by a win over the Pittsburgh Panthers on the road. The program, however, finished the last 6 games of the season with a 1-5 record. In the offseason, Akron focused to gear towards another season, where the Zips signed a new class of players to the team. The additions of 9 new players to the defense, 7 to the offense, and 2 overall athletes look to help the Akron roster. Looking towards the future, Akron looks to answer the most important position on the roster, with deciding between a quarterback core of Kyle Pohl, Tommy Woodson, and Trayvon Chapman. Kyle Pohl delivered for the Zips last season but was prone to injury. Woodson had some good games under his belt, however needs more polish in game-breaking situations. Trayvon Chapman has been the wild card where he transferred from playing at Ashland University. What he looks like in an Akron offense remains to be seen. A decision on who would quarterback the team may not come until the season kicks off, but until then, Akron will find ways to improve on an already strong Chuckamano defense, while Bowden looks to find ways to motivate his team to perform and break away from their 5-win cap, and playing up to our already high expectations. For now, Akron takes to the practice field, putting in the extra work while constantly reminded of the expectations set upon them. It is ultimately up to them if this would be the year where Akron zips back to MAC championship contention. After being a favorite pick last season to win the Mid-American Conference title, the Zips enter a pivotal year under head coach Terry Bowden's 4th year with the program. Terry Bowden is currently 11-25 in his 3 years here. However, this season looks to be the defining moment the Akron Zips were looking to face. For the ZTV Sports Report, I'm Sartaj Ajla.
Looks to be an important season for our football program.
That's right. After going 5-7 for 2 straight years, there are both positive and negatives, and both of those can be used to turn the program around.
Sticking with football, we were able to sit down with the kicker Robert Stein, who is entering his junior season with the team.
Dano Cermak sits down with Robert as he shares not only expectations with the team, but shares more on himself.
Robert Stein, I'm a mechanical engineering student at the University of Akron. It's a little bit of an adjustment just from, my body's getting a little bit older now, so getting warmed up for your 5:45 practice. I mean, we kick field goals right at the beginning, so you got to make sure you're mentally prepared and warmed up before you kick in front of the coaches, because, if we miss one or a few, they're not too happy with me, especially being a 5th-year senior now. I mean, even though we were practicing early, we get done before 9 o'clock and we can get on with the rest of our day, but, it's just a sacrifice we got to make in order to make the best for the team. Well, originally my whole family, we were soccer players, and my older brother ended up getting cut from his high school team and ended up joining the football team his junior year. So after he finished his junior year, he ended up going to Bowling Green State University, and his job was open, so I ended up playing football and soccer my sophomore, junior, and senior year, and it led to this. We played him twice, but the one time in October 2013, we actually got to play against each other. We were both starting, and someone was joking around when he went up to a field goal, you secretly want him to make it, so I ended up screaming at him from the sideline, and he banged one off the post. Coaches told me to just be ready to step in whenever they need me, and I knew my chance was going to come. I just had to wait for the right opportunity, and of course, none other than Penn State. He missed the field goal, and Coach Bowden looks behind and sees me, and he's like, "You're in, Stein." So it was just normal for me. I just went in, just didn't even think about it, put it right through the uprights, and from there it was just smooth sailing. I play the acoustic, and I like to think I can sing a little bit. But I recently, my freshman year, I started getting back into the guitar. I used to take lessons when I was younger until sports started taking over my life, and I recently picked it back up a few years back, and it's kind of been on and off, but now I've really started writing music and playing shows, and it's definitely one of my hobbies that I enjoy. Right now I have a co-op lined up with this company in Solon, Ohio called Swage Lock, so I'll start there this summer, and hopefully after have a few job opportunities either with them or with other engineering corporations.
2-1. It's time for us to go to another break, which means we only have one more segment to go in our program.
When we come back, we're going to dial up for another edition of FCP, and that's Full Court Press with Ben and Sartaj. We are going to discuss our Akron baseball team in addition to a possible development for our Akron basketball team.
Also, the spring athletics kept themselves busy and made some plays, which means our Daniel Cermak will share who made the best of the bunch.
Stay right where you are, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back. I'm here with your Mid-American Conference update. I'm Brian Bielko, and let's get started. Baseball and softball have finally returned to the warmth of the North, and the players are still turning out impressive performances. The top MAC baseball players of the week were CMU's Logan Regner and Nick Deeg. Over the course of 3 games, Logan went 6 for 12 with 4 RBIs and 5 runs scored, and also was 2 for 2 in stolen bases. Nick Deeg had another dominant start of the season by throwing a complete game, 4-hit shutout, and 11-0 win over Miami. He struck out 6 batters and did not allow a single walk in that game either. On the other side of the diamond, the top MAC softball players of the week were Elaney Woodard from Northern Illinois and Amber Logman from Miami. Elaney played a major role in leading the Huskies to 3 wins last week by hitting .500 with 3 home runs, 5 runs scored, and 8 RBIs in that stretch. Amber Logman had an outstanding week in which she led her team to 3 wins with a 2-0 record in the MAC. She only gave up 1 earned run in 17.2 innings pitched. She boasts a phenomenal .4 ERA in that stretch. That's all the time I have for today. I'm Brian Bielko. This has been your MAC Update.
Welcome back. Another week is in the books for the spring athletic programs, which means it's time to look at some key headlines. So we pitch it over to Sartaj Ojala, Ben Jeanette, and Elliot Georgiadis in this week's Full Court Press. Take it away, guys.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to yet another edition of Full Court Press. My name is Elliot Georgiadis, and I am joined again by Sartaj Ojala and Ben Jeanette. And to kick us off today, we're going to be taking a look at the Akron baseball team. So guys, how do you think their season is going to shape up? What do you think your predictions are? Ben, why don't we start with you?
Well, right now they're 12-14. They're 4-2 in the MAC, which is not bad. There were some positives and some negatives that I've seen in their last 4 games. John Valek, JT Brubaker, and John Pusatari did a great job on the 3 starts that they had. Valek, 10 Ks. Brubaker, 7 Ks. Pusatari, 7 Ks. They've all went deep. Each of those 3 pitchers went 7 innings. The problem is, you look at the JT Brubaker win. The team won 10-1. He went 8 innings, which is great. The game where Pusatari pitched, they won 2-0, and Valek they lost 3-2, and then a game against Canisius they lost 3-2. So here's the issue that you have: is you take out the 10 runs that they had against Toledo, they're only scoring 2 runs a game.
Sartaj.
I think they're a great talent on this roster, don't get me wrong. I'm going to go more overall picture. We're not worried about the arms in terms of batting, in terms of pitching.
Absolutely not.
The only thing that I'm worried about is up here, and that's mentality. Baseball is probably the most underrated mental sport in all of sports in general. And I look at this team in 2011, 16-37, 2012, 17-38, 2013, 15-37, and then this past year, 28-29 with 1 game away from going to Omaha. Now, that's a good turnaround for a team that's been struggling for the past 3 seasons. And one thing with this team is this: can they really handle success, and can they really handle back-to-back success? This season is really going to define where this team's going to go through the long run. And it all starts up here. If these players know when to really take the challenge, when to really know when to celebrate, and when to get back to work. This is going to be the biggest thing for this team. And if they can, they're going to be back to that 1 game away from Omaha we might see a different result.
Take a look at a topic we've discussed here on the show before, and that is whether or not they're going to be redoing the jar. We know that at the end of last year they had said that they were going to put that project on hold, but maybe now they're talking about bringing it up again this year. So what do you guys think as far as whether or not we should be building a new arena? Sartaj, let's start with you.
Well, I was able to talk to someone on the committee who was just making that decision, and right now it is on hold with no really news of when it's going to come back up. But one thing is for sure. If you look at James A. Rhodes Arena versus all the other arenas in the Mid-American Conference, I'm going to say the honest truth. We need a better arena. And for this team who has consecutively had 21 win seasons, that is something that no other team in the MAC has even achieved. And I think we're only one of 5 teams that haven't even achieved that win record. And with this, an arena downtown, I'm even thinking not only on the basketball side in terms of our team, I'm thinking also on the industry of Akron in general. You put an arena downtown, it can be a multi-purpose arena. It doesn't have to be the most flashy.
What do you think, Ben?
My problem with the jar is, you can attest to this, you and I have covered plenty of high school games. We've walked into high school arenas that put the jar to shame. I don't think it's appropriate to have a team that has this much success playing in an arena that is as run down, in my opinion, as the jar.
I would agree with you. I don't think I'm sure no one would disagree that it would not be wonderful, exciting to have a brand new facility. I think the problem is who's paying for it. You know, nobody wants to shell out the cash. I'm not going to be able to sit here and whip out my wallet and write a big check. I don't think either of us are going to be able to do that.
There's so many ways to go around building an arena. Okay, take a look at how they've built arenas in the past in other cities. Through a syntax. They've used, again, taxpayers.
Maybe they should hire our good old friend Ben here to get the
how
fundraising ball going on this.
How about they talk to Akron's favorite son and see if he'll pony up some money for an arena?
Well, maybe someday we can wish and hope and pray that we get a new arena here. But unfortunately, that is all the time we have for today. Thank you guys so much again for giving us your insight, and thank you for joining us. Once again, I'm Elliot Georgiadis.
We highlighted a lot of action so far in the show, but which 5 plays were able to punch the ticket to what we like to call Daniel Cermak's Furious 5? Let's see what made the plays this week.
Here at number 5, it's a sad day for me. I had to use a play from an opposing team. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But St. Francis softball playing the Zips. Here, fields it at third base, throws home, gets a runner out at home, then throws it back to second base, nothing's there, but the second baseman throws it back to home, gets the other runner out, then the play at third, it's just a little bit too late, and the red flashes barely miss a triple play. Now number 4, we do have Zips highlights here. Dom Euro playing third base, gets a nice bare hand pickup, throws it over to first, and Jared Rohan gets a nice scoop. Now, number 3, we go over to the pitch. Akron men's soccer has their spring season going on, and they had a really good showing against Walsh. They scored 6 goals, including they got a hat trick for Macchione, 2 goals from Adi Dakwar, who has definitely thrown his name in the hat for best name competition. And then Richie Larea added a goal very late in the game. Good showing overall for the Zips. And you might have noticed, Daniel, you only showed 5 goals for that game, and that's because Macchione's first goal was pretty impressive here. It goes for a little fancy flick behind the back, something I think I could probably do, but it would end up falling on my face. So now we're on to number 1, and we have a nice pitching performance from the Diamond from John Valek III. He had 10 strikeouts, only allowed 3 hits, but Zips ended up losing to Toledo with a final score of 3-2. I'm Daniel Cermak, and that's all the top plays we have for this week, but I'll see you next time.
Unfortunately, that is all the time we have for this week's edition of the ZTV Sports Report.
We only have one more show left, and why it won't be like any others? Because it's our live show.
That's right. We'll be broadcasting live from Colby Hall here at the University of Akron, so be sure to tune in.
Next time, we will be sticking with our baseball and our softball teams to see how their season is faring.
Plus, we have a special in-studio guest. Head coach Terry Bowden joins the full court press desk to discuss the upcoming season.
Thank you for joining us this week on ZTV Sports Report. Have a great rest of your day.
This program was produced by ZTV at the University of Akron. To find out how you can make Emmy-winning media, visit the UA School of Communication online. ZTV. Make media. Make a difference.